CA.
In 1607, the first English settlers settled in the colony of Jamestown in Virginia, and that was the start of what America became. Who knew that X amount of years later we would have such high-level Counter-Strike on our shores rather than their own, thus bringing them to us one more time. We've got a great matchup in Splyce and NRG, and with that, we have to talk about the addition of a new coach here in EMI. Guys, what do we know about this gentleman?
I would say EMI, former, I guess, semi-professional player, if you want to call it that, or professional by UK standards. Played for Team Endpoint and so on. Does have some international experience, obviously not at the top tier level, but playing around with, I guess, what is crawling, what's left in the UK scene.
I don't know what's left.
Well, yeah, it's starting to dwindle a little bit, but in any case, has some competitive experience as well. Been picked up as a coach for NRG. A bit of a weird pickup in my eyes, simply because I don't see the connection as to where anyone from NRG would have contact with EMI. I don't see where the connection comes in.
I just like how they're trying to help out each other. It's clear that NA needs some help from Europe, and it's clear that UK needs some help from everywhere, right? Yeah. So they're trying to help each other with emerging the UK scene and the progressing NA scene. Let's give that. You had the major winners. Congratulations, Trace.
Yeah, that's right. North America won a major.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe that happened, well, I feel sorry for you. Please carry on.
No, it's just like the point is, it's fun to see them helping out each other, and it is good. Look, we don't know too much about EMI, but often the way it is with these guys, there's a few very passionate guys around these countries, and if they can't find success in their own country, they seek abroad. I did it myself because I was going to say
that's small world, isn't it?
For some reason, right? But we seek abroad, and that's the cool thing, because you can't expect that he's highly motivated to like moving his entire life to NA. He gotta be motivated to make this team just a tiny bit better.
The American dream, right?
The American dream.
Yeah, so definitely going for it, which is cool
it's not a dream.
Well, I mean, it depends on who you ask, right?
Yeah, it's not a dream. It's a reality.
Well, there we go.
And, I haven't been home to America in a while. I don't want to get real...
Wonder why.
real teary-eyed on you guys here on the desk right now, but I am craving some proper
Hot Pockets.
What? Okay, close enough. Hot Pockets will also do. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Splyce, though. We touched a little bit about the NRG edition of Coach and EMI, but Splyce, I mean, we can look at the names on this lineup. We could talk a little bit about what they could bring to the table. Why hasn't this Splyce lineup found that sort of rhythm that they should have found by now?
I mean, they've been playing with the same lineup for a long time now. Now with one new addition, Exotic. I mean, it might be some fresh blood into the team, but the core of this lineup has been together for a year, I think, and that's quite impressive considering they are NA players and considering they haven't found too much success, to be honest with you. So they're still trying with the same core, and it's like a different approach that if we look towards a complexity lineup who is in sort of the same position, not really breaking through the scene, just like a midi-core NA team. These guys are actually trying to stick together, and you can admire that, and you can think, is that a lack of ambition? Is that a lack of investment from Splyce side? What is it, or is it just like, are they believing in this core lineup? So we'll have to see. Thus far, though, I'd say I wouldn't say impressed, but
they've gotten results.
They've gotten the results,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And
it's been messy, but they've gotten
atypical, a Splyce lineup who we would suggest, we're fighting for the relegation spots. But thus far, it has been looking pretty promising. And going up against NRG, this is one of the matchups for them. This is their big Super Bowl game. They gotta take a map of NRG and see what they can do.
That's an interesting way to put it.
But it's actually kind of a lot of a truth to that.
Yeah, it really is, especially when it's going to come to later in the season when these two teams are relatively close and sort of, dare I want to say, skill set, or where they usually fall within the rankings amongst the seasons at ESL Pro League. I don't know. I kind of have to look at this and say, yes, Splyce is coming here with a rather better start than they had before. They're sitting at 3-1. Yeah. But as far as the lineup, who are heavy hitters?
I mean, I would have to lean towards the new guy and Exotic. Obviously, from the very limited amount we've seen him, from the small sample size, he's still been fairly impressive. We have to consider the fact that he's 16, I think. Is at least one of the, I think, it's like 3 youngest players in the entirety of Pro League. So for him to already have showcased that, can have an impact versus some of the best players in North America, especially considering that he's got quite a lot of experienced players around him in terms of, Davies, Semphis, and so on, that he can be the heavy hitter on that side is impressive, and that's obviously something you can build off of. So obviously, I don't think for Exotic, his ambition should be that Splyce is going to be the end game for him, but this could be a stepping stone to, let's say that like the tier 2 of NA, and then kind of gradually jump his way up.
Because it is sort of like a weird lineup, right? When you look at it, it is like Semphis. Like he used to be pretty good. Used to be playing on some of the good teams. You know, Roke used to be a big talent NA-wise, but hasn't gone anywhere. You know, it seems to be like this this place where the fallen rejects fall down. You know, now we've got this new young guy who comes in.
just tell them how you really feel. No, it's cool. Just in case you don't know the lineup here for Splyce, we have Drone, Semphis, Roka, Davey, and Exotic. Now, Exotic being that new player within the lineup. I think one player that you didn't mention, Davey, a player that's shown a lot of promise on and off throughout the years, regardless of what may have happened, stream this and that. This is a guy that's been able to find himself within the top of Counter-Strike for a considerable amount of time, such as Semphis.
No, just the point, you know. It's like the players who are not good enough to go to the Cloud9s, not good enough to be prospect for the Liquid. You know, they find together on these teams and have to find some sort of success, right? So that's this interesting storyline around these teams. And when you bring in a new guy like Exotic, you know, as you said, this can be his end goal. You know, playing for Splyce is not where you wanna be in your career. You know, if you look forward a year, and neither goes for Semphis or Davey or someone of those type of players. You know, they all have individual goals they want to reach, and it's I think it's a fair story to tell and point out. You know, neither of these teams are meant to be together forever. Like, these players have ambitions and they want to go to the Liquids, they want to go to the Cloud9s with their careers. So it is a placeholder team, and they just have to do as good as they can while having these places, if you could say so.
Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised by the fact that you mentioned Davey, right? And if we go back to, I want to say, MLG Columbus 2016. During the qualifier for that, where Splyce qualified, Davey was one of the main reasons.
I lost
really
to that dude.
Well, there we go. Already, Davey confirmed better than Pimp, and Pimp's been on Liquid. So you know what happened to Davey? You know that's really the big question.
So you're saying, and just
transitive property, right? Like that works. That's
what if we remove Pimp, add Davey in that equation? Do they win the majors?
Probably. I mean,
response.
No comment.
No comment.
There you go. You can't argue with facts. That's pretty much how it goes.
And you can't argue with numbers either. And that's exactly what we're going to be looking to when we push forward a little bit. It's time to focus now on NRG. Now, a player that's super bright and up and coming, and seemingly the buzz of this team would be Cirque. Yeah. This guy has the reaction time faster than the turtle on the lawnmower. Wait. The rabbit, the hair on the lawnmower. Anyway, he's faster than all that, right?
Yeah.
So moving forward, this guy has shown promise. He's brought something to the table here. And what else can we say about the Bulgarian?
I think, that's, what else can you say? The fact that he's just like a massive talent. I think he's been extremely impressive throughout the season, or from his time in NRG, and even before that, obviously, when he was playing back in Europe. Obviously, a bit of a surprising pickup. Again, not really sure how the connection was made between his previous team and NRG, but nonetheless, it's been a massive payoff for them. And you can see how quick he is, how accurate it is. And it's not necessarily versus, slouches either. You saw him doing it versus NIP there. And he's a really interesting and exciting player to really follow. I have him as one of the kind of potential breakout stars of this season of Pro League. And I wouldn't be too surprised if we necessarily went back to Europe and ended up at a significantly better team.
That's the point, right? This is a raw talent coming into the NA scene, and as you said, we don't know how they approach him, and that's always like a fun story in itself, right? But he's a raw talent, and he's really, really good with this AVP, and as you said, he could easily go back to Europe and play for like Bulgarian, Counter-Strike right now, it's in a dead place, to say the least. But they have talent, They've had teams out there, Victor, the bubble guys, who somehow managed to go to the major qualifiers and stuff like that. Him in a Bulgarian team in the future, definitely a possibility. Now, he plays in NA, he learns the English set, If he has this talent that he keeps showing us time and time again, like international multi-language team is also an option for him. So definitely, again, a guy who's playing very well Counter-Strike, and NRG is not his end goal, This is not where he's going to shine bright like a diamond. He's gonna go further.
Shine bright like a diamond.
The Rihanna reference,
I'm a fan of it. Yeah. I can appreciate it.
It's a good song.
It is. It's empowering. Every morning when I wake up, I turn it on in the shower, and I listen to Rihanna, and I sing, and I let the umbrella come out. And
then
I just
you look yourself in the mirror and you just think, what the hell happened, right?
No, I never do that. One thing I would say, what would happen if we had Bulgarian Counter-Strike versus Norwegian Counter-Strike? Take it away, Pam.
Bulgarian Counter-Strike would smash Norwegian Counter-Strike.
I don't know what kind of stuff you've been taking for the green room, but I guess the sugar high is kicking in. But that'll be an easy contest for Norway, obviously. If we can,
but who would you even go with?
I mean, obviously, if we can pick and choose between anyone, right?
Yeah, that's the goal.
Rain, Rubino, Jacob, and then obviously you throw in someone like Marcelius or Nafu, Akez, like bunch
or
of
even yourself, a bright budding young talent.
that would be rough. that wouldn't end too well. But definitely a lot of promising talents in Norway as well, even though not necessarily too many of them have made it to the big scene. But at least compared to Bulgaria, we have 3 to 1.
3.
So
yeah, I guess
3 beats 1.
He's got a better argument than you, Pimp. But just for the sake of the show, I would like to side with you on this rather than Halvor.
Why not? I'm always right.
Bulgaria versus Norway in terms of Counter-Strike isn't exactly the storyline here. It's more so North America and Canada. North America versus, the likes of just a team that needs to find their footing all around. It's kind of weird that we can look at Counter-Strike in this day and age and see where it is in terms of the standard, hey, we all speak one language, we are all from one place, is gone.
It's just like, what, 2.5 years ago or something, where every international lineup that was assembled was just immediately stamped with like, oh yeah, this is going to fail. Like 3 to 4 weeks, somebody's going to like crack under pressure. They're not going to be able to handle the fact that, information is not necessarily spot on immediately. You'd have misunderstandings, and that's just the end of the team. And then obviously we've seen Mouse Sports, Hellraisers, FaZe, and on and on and on, so on. Even you being in addition into Team Liquid, for instance, just having success and is working. Obviously, you can overcome these issues with time if you give it time to grow and actually get over those initial hurdles where there are miscommunication and so on. You can actually build proper teams with not necessarily everyone from the same region.
For sure. That's why it's going to be an interesting season in itself for NRG. I think you had them in your top
Playoffs,
6 as well. Yeah, you had them in like
spot.
top 6. This is supposed to be a top 6 team. I didn't have them, so they're not going to be there, right? But you have them, so
we'll see.
Let's see how like that top 6 material is going to involve. Because against Splyce, there's no doubt that should be a 2-0. Splyce have been showing promises, 3-1. Arguably not against the strongest opponents, and they got the wins they needed, right? But this is a matchup where I see them easily bring in a fight and might even, steal a map of NRG. Even though I would say NRG definitely are the favorites.
And that's a big one as well, because NRG are my like fringe 6-spot team to make it to the playoffs. They have to get a 2-0 versus a team like Splyce. That's who you're supposed to beat if you want to have a shot at playoffs, because the top end of North American Pro League is getting so strong compared to what it's been in the previous seasons that you can't really allow yourself to have slip up versus the lower end of the standings, really, because it's not going to be easy taking a map off of SK. It's not going to be an easy task to take a map of Optic or Cloud9 or Team Liquid and so on and so on. Even Renegades have been playing really well, even with the addition of Jacob. So, there's not a lot of easy matchups, or not as many easy matchups as you would have had in the previous seasons. So for NRG, they just need to get off to a really hot start, beat all the teams they're supposed to beat.
Guys, it's a money where your mouth is type of moment. And in this matchup, it's going to be Train and Mirage. And I'm just going to have to put you out there, Pimp. Who you got and why on Train?
There's no doubt that NRG are the favorites in both matchups, I'd say, especially on Mirage. I feel that's where the strongest map is at. As for Splyce, I could see them bring in a close game now, and I'm not going to rule out a 1-1. I don't know what it is about these best-of-2 scenario games, but it seems to be like 1-1 a lot of the times, even though there is a clear favorite going into the matchup. So I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to say 1-1. I think Roka.
What's the special emphasis on the mouth and the money part? I would love to hear more about that later. But please, who do you have?
Yeah, I have Splyce for this one. I think Roka is going to go ham and crazy and just take this map.
Ham and crazy at the same time. Be on the lookout for that. A short frag movie by Roka. Go ahead. Who do you have in this matchup?
This is going to be handed, easy victory for NRG. I think Zerk's just going to go to town with that AWP, and I don't see anyone on Splyce's side actually being able to go toe-to-toe with them in that duel, and I think that's going to be too big of an issue.
Roka, man. He's like
with an AWP?
Yeah.
I'm glad I haven't, but yeah. So I'm siding with NRG. I think this is going to be a pretty comfortable victory on Train, and I think it's going to be, even more so going into the second map.
A house divided and one in which they live in together by themselves. I'm going to have to encourage you to use hashtag ESL Pro League on Twitter. And tell me who you think is the better analyst of these two right now between Pimp and Vendetta. Make sure you tag them as well, because they would also like to see what you have to say. Let's go ahead and bring in the guys who are going to be bringing the action. We have just a few more minutes, too, to kind of, how do I say this, beat around the bush with our friends Jason, O'Toole, and Harry.
Yeah. I'm excited for NRG. I like NRG. I want to see Cirque. I think I've only seen him play once. Last year sometime. It's been a while, but I was really impressed by him. I don't know how you feel.
I'm really excited to see Splyce. I love them ever since they've added Exotic into this roster. Of course, he's the new kind of the young gun of this team. Like he's coming into the AWP role. He looks fantastic. I actually spoke a little bit to Drone about how he's feeling with him, and they said like the guy is just insane, right? Like insane skill ceiling, but they just don't know how high it will go. And I think, you know, this is why I see the series going 1-1. I think their Mirage is pretty weak. I've seen them play it loads.
Okay.
And after speaking to Drone, I know that like he's not happy with it either. He said it's used to be one of their strongest maps, and lately they just can't seem to find their footing on it. So they're trying to change up the default.
So you think Splyce is going to win Train but lose Mirage?
Yes.
Okay.
Just because I think Exotic, if he's on form, this is the one thing, but inconsistent, kind of classic of any like younger, less experienced player.
Yeah.
But if he's on form, there will be no stopping him.
Okay, no stopping him whatsoever. Interesting on a team going up in opposition that has a lot of young talent themselves. Breezy is a really cool guy to watch. I think he's a player that's shown some potential. Obviously, a bigger name in the lower echelons of North American Counter-Strike, and then obviously Cirque I already mentioned I really like. So yeah, we'll see these two teams with some potential being shown going head-to-head here on this first map of Train. While we're on that subject, Daps leading the NRG roster is someone that kind of hold him in the same regard as FNS, in that kind of same boat. A guy who's done really good with different lineups and getting them to a certain point, and never really being able to like push past some small like invisible barrier to become a contending team. But he does get them playing in a pretty decent way. Ethan as well coming over from CLG. This is now Cirque who spotted out the bomb and a couple players, and he's going to fall away to be a little bit more passive. There is a second player, that's Fugly, who's in this inner bomb site as well, far back to provide support.
Yeah, Splyce is going to be stacking up here early on. Semphis, they've left him on his lonesome over at Ivy, perhaps to come in for that late lurk. Jones done a tiny bit of damage onto Cirque, but nothing to write home about. Getting out to throw out that one smoke in a 4 connector. Now they look to come barreling on it through behind it. Cirque looks to hold down the site. They tried to run away, and oh no, that strategy's gone horribly wrong. The bomb's been dropped. They have to go back for it. And now it's just Drone and Davey left. Drone's going to get 1 and a second, so he's trying to flip the script. But it's a messy start to this round. Bomb's going to go down right in the eyes of Fugly, but he doesn't go peek. He'll be finished off as well, and I've really built them up, Jason, and that wasn't the pissed around I was hoping we would see.
It's not the ideal start, is it, for your boys over at Splyce? I mean, it's funny. It ties like right into that strategy we saw on Inferno from Optic, where they tapped the bomb plant inside the smoke and tried to bail out, and that's one of the reasons why it seems like such a mental thing to do at times. Is that one especially like. No smoke covering anything, just trying to evacuate up, and they were hoping that the Ivy player would be able to take advantage of some kind of a massive rotation, but it didn't come in from NRG quite yet. He missed his timing, and it's a pretty easy round, all things considered, from NRG, despite a couple nice kills from Drone. But again, they do get the plant in the end of the round, so that'll be used in the next one. For now, it's just P250's no armor, and look at Cirque gonna lead the way, and he kind of.
Yeah, that's the bomb drop to their feet as well. Fugly. Looks like he wanted to try and cool down over here in showers, and Davey will certainly help him with that. He's thinking how to get rid of Semphis, though. In the blink of an eye, it's just Davey left, and it's not looking too good for him. He will be afforded control of the bomb, but he doesn't know that yet. So P9 at P250 and 1 nade. Not really expecting too much from him. The one kind of silver lining is that Cirque, the man holding close on B, is tagged down at 10 HP. And Daps is watching pretty passively from Connector. So maybe a bomb plant here if the timing and everything allows it.
You'd have to have so many things go his way, and yeah, now he just kind of knows he's just jumping to his death. Although he does get some decent damage on the Daps, down to 38. 2-0, and here come the AK-47s. Semphis going to buy up the first one. Yeah, this one's nice. I mean, Cirque gets away with one. He kind of ignores the fact, he ignores one of those angles for that first kill, but is able to adjust. And with no armor, you don't really have you have to pretty much get that kill instantly. So AK's out on 4 players of Splyce, Galil, and Roka's hands. They've got decent nades. We'll see what NRG is able to bring to the table. That SMG passed over to Daps.
Yeah, and it's the bonus round from NRG. Zerk has the money to bring the AWP out into the next round. Daps has already pushed up here outside of B. Does have
Surely not.
Fugly
Surely not
with
twice.
They are going to be holding it. Drone just going to look away. The timing couldn't be worse. Sempha's here to try and trade back, and he will. And that is so important. Fugly and Daps both go down. So man advantage taken here for Splyce on the back of Semphas's trade there. Does go above and beyond what was needed of him. And now they've slowing right down.
Gamble from NRG towards this outer bomb site. They're essentially saying that they're taking the gamble that Splyce reads that as 1 to 2 players would have to rotate inner after those 2 kills come out. Splyce thinks they're going to have a weaker defense outside. And that smoke is what did it. I mean, until then, NRG was fine. That smoke has really kind of confused them, pulled them in towards connector. Now they've got to get out quickly. Flashbangs out. There is 1 player at the bomb train. That's Cirque. He has a big job, and that's a good opening kill onto Breezy. 1 player pushed up the flank through Ivy. That's Ethan. And he's not going to be able to get into the fight. It will be a plant and a round for the Splyce side. A 1 versus 4 for Ethan as he comes out T-main. Roka's waiting patiently for this. Can't win the battle, and Semphasis is next up. He does find his 3rd. You're right, that double kill inside was huge for him to get for his team.
Yeah, I mean, that was the bonus round for NRG. They can still buy here, but Zerk is going to go for the AWP. I was going to say, he could sacrifice it in terms of dropping a gun over to Fugly, but instead he'll just take the hit and go onto the FAMAS.
I think with the pistols as strong as they are, there's no point to really do that just for 1 rifle. You can see 2 M4s and a FAMAS as well. That's going to be fine to surround the AWP with. Daps even takes the CZ. Passing the FAMAS over to Fugly, making sure his strongest players can have the stronger weapons. Fugly playing the inner bomb site all alone at the moment. It is huge pressure out towards Ivy for Cirque with that up, and Breezy. But a pretty patient round for Splyce now as they slow things down.
Yeah, I think something that's quite important for them is trying to get Exotic onto this AWP. I've been really bigging him up, and I'm hoping that you can kind of see why, because he is good when he's feeling it. On, man advantage picked up for NRG, and on the back of this, they're going to start to pull around over here towards this B-bomb site. Bomb going to be in tow. Leaving Exotic behind to hold on to mid. Now, admittedly, I haven't seen too much of Exotic on train. I've seen a lot of him on Mirage. I think I've seen him play this once, and he didn't do amazing. So, was hoping it's more of an off day as opposed to an off map for him. But, going to be interested to see. Now, for NRG, they've got 2 players over here toward B. It's going to be Ethan and Fugly lying in wait. They still have a decent bit of utility up on Fugly as well to try and delay this push. No incendiary, so actually Splyce will just be allowed to slip on in. And really,
the round's going well.
Yeah, really, you could imagine.
Yes, plant does go down. There we are. Fugly still here. It was a very passive setup towards that inner bomb site. A lot of damage being dealt. There's Ethan chiming in, and Roka at some point is going to have to go for a peek, try and make something happen, and he's given up. Semphas now picked off by Cirque as the op getting in, and it's Drone left at Pop Dog in a 1 versus 5. He does find Ethan. There is a kit onto Cirque, but they need to find this kill, and they do. And there it is. Hop off the bomb, allow the kit to find it. That's a great round from NRG. 2 kills for Breezy. The op even chiming in. So 3-1 Splyce, even with that plant. They're going to be hard-pressed to put a solid buy together. As you said, Zadok still not able to get onto that AWP.
Yeah, he's going to go glass cannon, and kind of figured he would. I spoke to Drone a good bit about him joining the roster. And one of the things that kind of struck me when we spoke is how they're setting him up to be like the star player within this team, in spite of being quite young. We used to really look towards Drone and Roka, but since Exotic has joined, he's been a bit more of the focal point. They've been trying to give him a free reign, letting him do what he wants to do on the map.
Let's see what this op can do for Splyce. It's the main weapon they have to find a pick. Although Zadok has it right now above ladder room, so not really in any kind of position to find anyone from NRG. Deagle on Davey and Semphas. So it looks like it's just going to be a hit towards that inner bomb site eventually. It just kind of feels like they're running through the motions elsewhere on the map. With the op kind of committed here with the bomb. That just seems the most likely of scenarios. Roka is going to be out towards Ivy. He'll be on a lurk, and already we're starting to see a player cheat in through CT spawn towards that inner bomb site. So Fugly's here to anchor. Cirque and Breezy will have a quick rotate as soon as any indication comes in. 35 seconds. No damage has been dealt by either team at the moment. Now actually they're going to head right back at that player in ladder room. It's actually going to be, excuse me, can't see who the number is. It's Ethan. He finds that kill onto Semphis, and he's going to hold them at bay. 20 seconds. They need to get down this ladder. They're just going to be running to their death. 3 kills for Ethan. That is a very nice sequence for him as Cirque gets the final kill. But you have to say, Splyce really didn't do a whole lot that round.
Yeah, they're taking it very, very slowly. And, you know, almost too slow. This is definitely the team that comes to mind for me whenever I speak about those teams that do, you know, go so slowly where it feels like they kind of put themselves in a bad situation. If you notice, they hadn't really dropped out any utility there. They had no information across the map where anyone was for NRG. Didn't even know about Ethan down there in pop.
Yeah, I mean, you have to try and clear that out earlier than 20 seconds left on the clock, right? Like, you still have a whole outer yard of the bomb site. Here's going to be a quick clash. There's the SMG Daps getting 2 kills, but eventually they're all traded. It's a 3-on-2. I don't know if they can beat them into the bomb site. No, they can't, as they spend some time picking up the fallen weapons, and already NRG is here. There's one player peeking the upper. Zodic. Actually, he's already dropped down. Actually, he might catch Ethan off guard, but no, he's aware of it right at the last second. All that's left is for Semphis to get into the bomb site. No armor, no utility, and an SMG, and an easy kill for Ethan. 2 for him in the round. 5-1 very quickly. Now, Splyce can buy again, but they're going to be Alpless, which we've seen them kind of want to have on Zodic, even though they didn't have in a position to really do anything. As you said, that's going to be the weapon they want to get to him as fast as possible, as frequently as possible. In this round, they're going to be without it.
Yeah, they have been really struggling to kind of get going right now. So, once again, going to be a slow play over here towards B initially. This time, though, NRG, they've taken a foothold down here toward Ivy, where Roka and Exotic did lie in wait. They're going to start to back away. Once again, head over here towards this B-bomb site. Stacking up outside of it. Fugly inside. Once again, looks to try and be the anchor. NRG, really about answer. You have got a man down in Ivy who can take the aggression, get the information that there's no one there. But now they're lining up the smokes and flashes, ready to go in to this B-bomb site.
Yeah, Fugly again is going to get tested, and Daps on the rotate over. He's already here. Molotov out. It's a bit late. They're going to be able to get by it. Fugly, here's the peek out. Gets 1, sprays down a second with the help of Daps. Semphis playing around the edge of the smoke, though, is able to trade that kill, but everyone is now here from NRG. They have rotated through, and Exotic can get nothing done through the smoke. He's picked off by the AWP. Davey, all that's left, and NRG is on top of everything. 4 players survive. It's a 6-1 lead, and again, there's no money on the Splyce side. Meanwhile, Cirque at 8,300. Breezy gonna drop a gun over. He's down to 7,300. They've got Ethan up over 7,000 as well. Dangerous times for Splyce as they're gonna invest in pistols. No armor, but want to try and do some damage, and a bomb plant would obviously be ideal.
Just going to go for the set piece out towards A, lining up the smokes and flashes, ready to go in. Throw those out pretty quickly, and now look to try and rush on through on the back of it. They've still got 1 flash up on Davey to try and facilitate this play. They're going to start to make their way in. Flash has already gone out. Cirque, well, it's like shooting fish in a barrel for him as Zood come his way. He's only able to get 1. Ooh, nice turnaround there. Bomb plant looks to come on through. Well managed to get it down. Davey goes through the smoke, drones at 1v5. He's going to go down as well, and NRG going to be on to a 7th round. It is a bit of a slaughter here, Jason. Maybe I painted too bright a picture for us.
You did start to paint a pretty bright picture. I mean, this is what happens when you have hope and positivity, though.
Yeah, no, the world quickly takes that out of you, doesn't it?
You'll learn. Still young. I mean, the plant they're going to be happy with, right? But you can't just get away with the plant at this point. You have to take some lives away from NRG. You have to get some of these guns out of their hands, force the rebuys, because at the moment it's looking like they have, you know, 2 to 3 rounds of solid buys on the NRG side of things that you're going to have to burn through if you're Splyce. So it's pretty dangerous they've allowed this much economy to build up. One of the great ways to have success as a T side here is to always have that economy for the CT side in very close to a reset position. So even when the score gets to 7-1, it's not quite as intimidating because, you know, winning 1 round is almost equal to winning 2 or 3 just because they'll have to go back to pistols. That's not a luxury that Splyce has at the moment. And they don't have a whole lot of rounds left in this half to get it to that point either.
Well, once again, it looks like they're setting up for this A play, and Ethan, he's going to be what's going to be that problem for them down here in drop? They've spotted him out. Semphis did just jump across for the information, so they know he's down there this time. Semphis just teasing him.
It's fine, though. Like, the question becomes, what do they have to handle it? Do they have anything they can do? They're going to start throwing these smokes out the window for an outer execute, but Ethan is still here, and he's actually holding them back. 45 seconds left. They have to do something. This is an important piece of the attack. And Ethan is just, I mean, you said Semphis is toying with him. It's Ethan who's actually winning this. Now underneath, there's 2 quick kills for him. He has outgamed everyone from Splyce. That's a beautiful hold of ladder room. And Exotic, there's maybe his first kill with the weapon. 1 versus 3, 20 seconds left. Just over 20 seconds, and he's going to be taken down. Still no success, still not a whole lot of progress made by Splyce on these train yards.
Yeah, I mean, a pause called in, a much needed one at that. This is a slaughter. And, you know, I've kind of refreshed my memory a bit on Splyce's train performance. I feel like this is a good map for the team,
okay,
but not a very good map for Exotic. And, you know, that's why me bigging up this performance might not ever come to fruition.
Well, you say it's a good map for Splyce. It's not looking like that at the moment.
No, they are definitely being bested here.
Are getting a bit smacked around, aren't they?
The biggest problem is when it comes to Mirage, they've had a few issues with their default as of late. Ever since Exotic kind of joined, they've been struggling at how to play that map, in particular on their CT side. That's how you're going to notice they have their biggest weakness.
Yeah.
And that's like that's a different talking point for the next map, but it's just...
Yeah, save the gold.
Yeah, no, okay.
I'll
hold on to it.
Yeah,
you know, I'm actually quite
ones.
proud. I am the resident Splyce expert.
Okay.
Which, very niche market for it.
I was going to say, you probably haven't found yourself too in demand.
No,
that kind of a resume.
You know, I'm needed now, and that's all that matters.
This is your time.
Exotic's taken the Galil, which isn't really where he wants to be. They're going to be heading over here towards this B-bomb site, but NRG already looking like they have their number in this matchup. The pressure is monumental for Splyce because of all that money that's built up for NRG. At this point, 1 round win is not enough. They're going to need 2 or 3 in a row before they corrode down that mountain of cash that NRG currently sit upon. I mean, that's pretty terrifying. CT side of Train, if you let that CT side economy just build up as they have, you're in a pretty tough spot because I'm not seeing a world where NRG have to eco anytime soon.
And just look how worried Splyce is about ladder room. Ethan has destroyed them there, you know, 2 or 3 times already, and they're spending a lot of precious seconds trying to see if he's there, trying to see what utility they can throw. And this is a very passive defense towards the B bomb site because NRG wants to be able to rotate outside very, very quickly, and they'll get their wish. There's some players down ladder. Finally, Semphis and Drone are able to do it safely. Cirque on the bomb train. Got one up above him as well. That's Ethan. Gets the opening kill. They're going to start wrapping on this train, though, and the Opera Cirque, the no-scope, he needed to hit that, and he almost gets the follow-up. It's a 2-on-2. Must win for Splyce, and Breezy going to keep them firmly in the advantage, although 1-on-1, 2 HP. Exotic's not able to make it work. Finally, though, at least a costly round for NRG to win. That's not going to matter a whole lot as they've got a couple players almost being able to just reach out and touch 16K, but 9-1 now.
Dad, I mean, what more is there to say? It's looking very one-sided here.
Schedule fans around the world rejoice. NRG's going to help us get back on track. Semphis looking for a ladder push, and it's not going to be coming from there. They're going to be boosting up behind him. That's Fugly. There's Drone. Ooh, that timing. That's really unfortunate. And that gives away the game as well. Even Daps falling away. Fortunate for Splyce. The round could have very easily just ended right there. Semphis still having a love affair with ladder room. He's been able to have it the last 2 rounds. Where does Splyce want to go from here? All huddled above ladder. Could choose to go inner at any moment, though. Not sure we too frequently see 5 players busting out of ladder room. So, yeah, they're going to readjust. Fugly still holding on the bomb train. Daps is here as well. We've seen that a number of times. Breezy was boosted up on the corner outside in connector. He'll be on a quick rotate as well. And there is some utility for Splyce to use.
Yeah, they're going to have to throw out the smoke into connector. Now look to try and make this play a reality. Fugly is inside the site. He's the only man who can hold this push back. He's going to be able to get 1 and a second. Somehow still alive. Make that 3 as he just paints the site red. It's all on Davey. 1v4, not meant to be. He's going to go down. And NRG locked themselves in a 10th. So for Splyce to be back to the drawing board, Exotic gets himself the AWP, but haven't really seen the performance we expect to see from him. Look at this. I mean, Fugly feeling so confident. And I think the most insane thing about all of this, I think, is the effect that Ethan has had on this team. Like, he is very much at the forefront of their minds. You can see every round how long they spend trying to take control of drop and make sure he isn't there. It's kind of been the one role of Semphis. He's going there once again. He's very reliable in that.
Oh, here's a push. That's going to spell the end of Cirque. So, NRG up 10-1. They try and switch things up and get a little bit aggressive towards Ivy to no success. That might actually slow things down for Splyce. It seemed like they wanted to be a bit faster paced that round, but they finally have an opening pick, so why not try and take advantage of it? Semphis all alone above ladder, watching for the inner push, watching for the ladder flank. Ethan is there this round. He's not going to do any damage. And actually, Semphis pre-fires it, almost wins the fight. That would have been great for him. You just mentioned it. He struggled to get down here appropriately, and he's going to lose that fight one more time. Ethan is just being a god, and there's Breezy coming through. A couple players blind. The double peek from Breezy and Fugly is nice. It's into a 2-on-2. There's still Daps pushed up close. There's still Ethan in ladder room, and that would have been a huge fight to win. Now Ethan, they know exactly where he is, and he's pinned down by the AWP out towards Ivy.
We're just going to miss as Ethan has been allowed just to trickle on through. Davies taking the lengthy rotation round over here towards Ivy. They're going to wrap into B. So we'll get this bomb down for 3.
Oh, he's missed all the timings as well.
But you imagine, with the amount of money they had, Ethan might want to try his luck at something here. That bomb's going to go down. And going to go ahead and head up through Pop Dog. Both players for Splyce going aggressive. Bomb going to be planted for them as well. There should be no way back into this round for Ethan. But he's been on a bit of a tear in this first half, so let's not count him out of it just yet.
He does have a smoke as well for the bomb if he just wants to tap it and drop on there trying to fuse in the smoke. You never know how that's going to go. I don't think that went far enough. I think they'll be able to see him on the other side, unfortunately. There's the one single shot. Yeah, that wasn't deep enough at all. So 10-2, Splyce finally get on the board again, but as you mentioned, as we've talked about, there's so much money built up, but started to chip away at it down here towards the end of this. They had a round that got down into a one-on-one. They had that victory right there. There's this buy and one more after it for NRG, and then I think Splyce will have done it. So if they can do that, they have a chance to get up towards 5 at the very least. And then things don't look quite so scary anymore.
Yeah, they just trying to add some aggression. They want to take some damage to the utility, but not too much. And now once again they've slowed right down. I do think that Ethan has put NRG in a very good spot. Like they're so scared of taking pop. There's been a few rounds now where they've been giving it for free in the initial, say, 30, 40 seconds of the round, and then he just walked in late. And you know, you really are winning when you have like an invisible 6th man down there that everyone's too scared to push, who doesn't actually exist. And Ethan's just allowed to stroll in very late into the round and take control of it once again. But now stacking up over here towards Ivy, changing their sights a little bit here. And Exotic, he's found the first onto Cirque. He does win that duel. That's opened them up once again with the man advantage. They were able to take Cirque out early on in the previous round, and that was what led to their success. But look at this, 3 players rotating in for NRG, everyone over here towards Ivy. And this is probably going to be one of the most unconventional defenses and pushes you're going to see on Train. As 4 players look to go walking into the 3-man crossfire, Roka's opened up onto the first. Perhaps is able to get 1 before he falls. It is back into a 1-on-2, and Ethan, he falls at the hands of Exotic. So Splyce, they're going to be onto a 3rd round, and now the economy does start to get chipped away for NRG.
That is a very weird round in the sense it's not too frequent. You just see the pretty much the entirety of the attack come towards Ivy, and obviously, I think my tough part with these past couple rounds, this is great that Splyce is able to string 2 together, and they're still going to be able to attempt for the next as well. But it's weird, these rounds where they've had the advantage, where they found the opening pick. It's not because they've actually found it. I mean, it's Cirque now peeking in with a pop flash towards Ivy and getting picked off. And then the other round, it was Cirque pushing down Ivy and getting picked off. So they've been given a couple opening kills. And if I'm NRG, I'm just saying, all right, everyone just sit back. Like, they haven't been able to actually hit a bomb site successfully on us. Everyone just play back. Don't give up one of those kills. Make sure they have to commit. 10-3 as this timeout is going to come to an end, and we'll get back into the action. Splyce trying to give themselves the minimal amount to work with into the next half. Still an AWP on Cirque. Still one on Exotic as well for Splyce. Nades ringing out over the wall, fast towards that outer yard. Might freeze the rotations. It's Fugly here all alone. Exotic's got to go through that with the AWP. Misses the shot, though. He's stuck, and he's isolated for the moment. Leg shot on the Fugly. And there it is. He gets the follow-up. 20 HP, though. Smoke is in his way. Drops the bomb over, and he's got to cover his teammates. It's a 4-on-4, and still no one has shown themselves. Great flick up, but can't land the shot. It was very, very fast, though, and Semphis has got a very advanced position.
Yeah, Exotic going to go down. Doesn't manage to find any more success, and Semphis now sneaking on. Oh, missed opportunity there, and he's going to go down as a result. Suddenly, it's 2 versus 4, and Roka inside the site. Davey up above to try and keep an eye on him, but they are pushing in. Ethan's the first point of contact. Davey is going to be able to get the refrag, but it's still a 1 versus 3. Smoke goes down on the bomb. Davey is to go for the peak. The defuse is going to come on through as Cirque manages to pick it up, and NRG, they're straight back in with an 11th round.
That's a really nice hold. Fugly, the Molotov, burning 1 player alive from Splyce, who couldn't get through it or couldn't back out of it, which one we didn't quite see. And Exotic did everything he could to really provide his team with like a landing pad to get in there, just trying to hold up at Pop Dog on top of it, behind it, whatever it might be with that AWP, trying to get them in, trying to keep the space there. And Splyce just bleeding too many players out. 3 AKs and 2 upgraded pistols for the attack. Coming down ladder, Ethan's not here. I don't think Davey too frequently ever had to deal with that nightmare. It's a nice boost up, and Dap's not expecting it whatsoever. A great spray control. So a good advantage found. Perhaps the first pick that Splyce was able to find on their own virtue, really. Look at these gambles from NRG as well. Yeah. Fugly's already rotated back. No one in at the B bomb site.
Yeah, they've gone out and stuck all 4 remaining players over here towards A. Now Splyce. Ethan has actually just rotated around over towards Connector, so there is 1 man inside of B, but it'd be very easy to nullify him. He gets smoked off over here and Pop, and now a little bit of the utility starts to rain through. NRG rotate Ethan back, so that B-bomb site once again is going to be empty. Doesn't matter for Splyce. I think they start to try and hit out over here toward A. Cirque going to get rid of Drone. Fugly in with his late peek round from behind. Dispatches of Roka and Exotic just clinging on at 4 dear life. Backed into the corner, bombs out over towards Pop, and he has been allowed to get by. Cirque gets rid of another. Exotic finished off by Fugly and through the smoke, and that is it, a 12-3 half in favor of NRG.
Yeah, very dominant half. Very good stuff from NRG. They built up so much money, though, that they never really had to worry about anything, which is an uncommon luxury for CT teams. And if you're Splyce and you're talking about that half, you have to just kind of wonder what the game plan was. A couple rounds, it didn't even seem like they were doing anything across the map, and they get punished. It was a lot thanks to this guy. So many good rounds inside ladder room. Between him and Fugly, they did a phenomenal job at being the point of contact for NRG on the defense, holding ladder room, holding that inner bomb site. And Splyce could never really find a whole lot of success with the entries. Not even a whole lot of damage done by the Splyce side, which is, I think, the worrying thing. 20-7 for Ethan, 14-6 for Cirque. That is a dominant half for the NRG side. Your boys got to make a big comeback here, Harry.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. I'm not referring their odds now, at least on trade. And I don't know, it's a little bit scary at this point now looking to Mirage because of the problems that I know that they're having with it right now. It is definitely a better map for Exotic, and I think maybe for like Drone and Roker as well. But it's the default there that doesn't work. You know, the players might be good on it, but it's their setups that they've been struggling with. And that's kind of the underlying thing, right? That you could have some of the best aimers in the world, but still, if your setups aren't there, you're always going to encounter problems versus a team that really has it nailed down. And NRG, they definitely seem to fit the bill there. They've been on point here on train, and yeah, I remember the Mirage is even better.
Just waiting for some players to ready up, and then we'll get back into the action. See what each of these squads can bring to the table. Splyce will be on the defense. NRG would be on the attack. I think this NRG roster, I mean, just looking at these names, Ethan, Cirque, Breezy, and even Fugly to a degree, these guys have so much talent on them. He's got pretty underrated, I feel like, for some time now in the North American scene, but at one point he was a pretty big prospect. Been quiet ever since, not able to find his way back to the top, but still a very strong, good, knowledgeable player. But it's guys like Ethan and Breezy, kind of these young potential players in North America, and Cirque obviously coming over as an international recruit. That gives this team some promise. So Daps has a lot of fun tools to play with on this team.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, with Ethan playing like that, kind of gives you so much more versatility to be able to call as an IGL, you would imagine, when you actually can trust the people to step up in these situations, which, you know, I guess wasn't the same case for Sempis over on Splyce. You know, kind of everyone falling short in a lot of these engagements is going to greatly affect the decisions you can make.
Yeah, but I think the Splyce things was more like a tactical downfall, wasn't it? Like, even some of those rounds they won at the end just like left you scratching your head with like 4 plays, Toriel Ivies. But I mean, the real issue they had was you have to be able to take control of ladder room. Like, that's like the #1 thing. Like, if you're a new team, or if you're a team just coming up on train and saying we want to get good on train, the first thing you probably teach yourself about the T side is, you know, outside of obviously the smokes and everything, is how to take drop, and like 3 different ways to take drop room that you can have success with. Because if you can't control that part as Terra side, if you can't use that choke point ever, then you're just so limited in the different things you can do. Getting some good glimpses here of the warm-up between these two teams at halftime. Just little one-tap headshots coming out, running around the map. Splyce is going to have to look much better on the CT. Perhaps this is where your boy Exotic can have a better half. The CT side much easier to manage. Just sit somewhere on top of a train, grab an angle. We'll see what he's got, because Cirque actually, he didn't get pressured too much with the AWP, but we saw some nice, some very basic stuff from him that he kind of answered the call to, including a pretty nice no-scope. Either way, we're going to get live here in the second half. Splyce is down 3-12. Pistol round is a necessity.
Yeah, no, it is a must-have for Splyce if they want to stay alive here. They've gone for armor across the board, so they can't really afford to let that bomb go down. Oh, you imagine having him up here a few seconds earlier would have really helped. But Sempis going to be able to get himself one. He does come through. He's not going to go down. Bomb plot still yet to rewind. Drone gets spotted, but he's just playing around in the smoke. He's going to keep pushing forward, and Fugly does manage to decapitate him. Now 3-on-3. Bomb plot still yet to come in as Ethan locks down the angles. That bomb plot now going to come through. Roker's been spotted out, and he's been tagged so low. He will fall at the hands of Daps, leaving this on Sempis and Davey. Start to split into the site. Davey gotta get rid of Ethan, but he still has 2 more left to find. Tags down Daps. They have to move swiftly. Don't have the kit as a result of going for the armor across the board, so Defuse going to be tapped on. Davey gets rid of 1 more. It's Daps left alive, and he will go down. So Splyce, they managed to secure themselves the pistol round. From here, they look to try and pave a couple of rounds together and start to pave a path to that comeback.
That's I don't know how NRG lost that, to be honest with you. They seemed they had all the advantage in the post plant. In a 3-on-2, one player still pushed up towards the bomb train, but no one kind of spotting his back out towards Ivy. So some nice headshots down the stretch for the CT side. And again, with the plant, much like we saw in the first half, we'll get that third round bye with the AK-47s. But for now, 3 Deagles on board, 2 flashbangs on Daps. Let's see what they're able to do with these. Whittle down some of the forces. Exotic going to try and make some money. He's in the ladder room with the SMG. Towards the inner bomb site, NRG goes. Cirque and Fugly here by themselves. Davey and Roka to defend. Yeah, they're just going to try and hit a timing with these flashbangs. Drop him in, hope Roka's blind for just a second or two. If Breezy were to get a pick, that'd be huge. He's trying to take advantage of rotations, but I don't think Roka's going to move with this SMG. I don't think he'll be forced to move with it. Yeah, this is an easy cleanup. 5-12 now, but here come the rifles.
Yeah, Miami coming in at 4 NRG. You imagine that Splyce going to look to go for the bonus round here. But a little bit risky considering the scoreline, but I'll try and build up as many rounds as they can early on. And sorry, as much money as they can early on. NRG, rifles across the board. Not much utility to work with. 3 flashbangs, 1 smoke. Does leave them wanting a little bit in that department. They're going to be setting up over here toward B. Flash on through. These SMGs are posted up. And our 3 players here pushing on in early on. Exotic and Davey are able to find 2. And in response to that, NRG, they're just going to go waltzing on out into this A-bomb site.
Yeah, Drone has a big job to do, and he's looking the wrong way at the wrong time. And everyone else is falling back from the B site. Daps cannot get caught from the bomb here. He takes the fight anyway, though. That's a huge kill. Cirque going to be the next one testing Exotic. He does get dinked up through the corner of the wall, but Roka's here. Typical Roka headshot as well now in a 1-on-2. Bomb's going to go down, and where does NRG position themselves? This is a great response to inner aggression, to the numbers that are called out. Immediately taking out this outer bomb site. And Roka now coming in. He's got to find one towards connector. Hopefully that smoke, he's hoping it forces someone from NRG to peek up and give away their position, but it's not happening. And I think Roka's going to have to back out of this fight. Daps isn't going to let him do it. 13-5, the early round, the early buy for NRG works out phenomenally. And now Splyce is going to purchase right back into this. Op is dropped over to Exotic. He'll drop Roka a M4. And they have to win this or their game's all over.
Yeah, it all comes down to this for Splyce. NRG wanted to try and get this one over and done with as fast as they can. Exotic can be taking that AWP over here toward Ivy, peeking into main with it. But NRG, they're not wasting any time. Already 4 players over here towards B. They're going to go running in, and Davey, he's got his work cut out for him. Roka's the first man to rotate round, but Davey's already fallen. Roka, he's able to get 1. Very good damage as well onto Ethan. And tag low in the process, and that Incendiary is going to keep them away for that much longer. Smoke goes down to extinguish it. As they try and cross, Cirque's done so much damage through that smoke. Exotic peeking over the top. Does manage to dispatch a Fugly. Ethan's there to trade. Sempus takes it straight back. 2 versus 2. It's down to the wire. Daps and Cirque just holding their ground. There's no kit up for Splyce, so this is going to be all said and done. They have to go ahead and save. And that is devastating. NRG going to be on to a 14th round.
Yeah, really, NRG just bullying their way into that bomb site. A great opening kill. Davey couldn't slow him down, couldn't find the opening frag. And then it's an easy plant from there, and more Molotovs chiming into that connector and just keeping everyone at bay. That player on upper ramp, even though he falls down and dies in that duel to Roka early on, when he forces Roka to take that fight, it ensures that he's going to be stuck behind the second Molotov that follows up. So actually, it's a pretty critical position to buy that extra time. And yeah, no kits. That retake had to be much faster, and it just wasn't possible. They lost far too many players. They've got to hang their whole hat on Exotic with this AWP and Drone with the M4. We'll see if they can manage it. Fugly and Ethan already controlling halls, and a smoke has to be used early on by Davey. He's going to try and use this as a one-way, but it's pretty tenuous grasp if that's the play you're making. No smoke, or excuse me, one smoke left on Semphis, who's in the ladder room for the CT side.
The biggest thing right now, NRG, they just look so confident. Like they're not worried about what Splyce are doing whatsoever. It seems like if they want control of a certain area of the map, they just go and get it. And this round really looks to be no exception in terms of how much firepower they have going their way, and still so much utility left. They haven't had to use any of that. They've already gotten a decent amount out of the very limited portions that Splyce did have. Now, setting up outside of B. Davies in the site. Roker's holding with the Deeg from a distance. Semphis comes rotating in. There is going to be 3 players here, but it's the rifle and the AWP that are the furthest away in this rotation, and already Ethan's opened up onto Semphis, in with a second as well. Do they expect Davey? He looks away, and Davey's gone down. How on earth does that happen? Save call's going to come on in, and NRG, they get onto a 15th round. They reach map point, and Splyce, all they can do is run for the hills.
Yeah, I mean, that's so rough. You have everything you could want if you're Splyce. You have 3 players towards the inner site. You have all the pistols, the armor. You have them all concentrated on one choke point, and great utility usage from NRG. Negates some of the angles they're playing, but more than anything, it's just one fight all day long for NRG on both sides of this map. No one from Splyce seems even able to handle on an individual level. Even there, Exotic just holding a basic angle and just misses, just moves at the last moment. And Breezy's able to take him out. And Drone, he needs this. That's all they have. And he can't win that fight either. So NRG now just running over Splyce. It's going to be 15-5, and there's not going to be a whole lot to fight with for the defense. NRG making a quick work of this opening map, so it looks. Ethan with 25 kills to lead the way, 25 and 11 for him. Cirque as well, a guy that I've enjoyed watching very briefly. 17 and 8 for him, the AWPer of NRG. I'm sure we'll get to see more of that AWPing on Mirage when it does come out. That's the next map in this 2-map series. Here it is again, fast towards the center bomb site. Davies here, this time with a UMPs, close up. Ethan, not ready for it, neither is Daps. That's the bomb down. Davey gonna swap out for an AK-47, doing his best to prolong the life, but Cirque is preventing the rotations. Roka did make it through, but they've still got a long way to go.
Molotov gonna burn Fugly off the angle, and even then, it has missed its mark. Drone goes through, drone goes down. Oh, Fugly with a second shot. Now it's all an Exotic. The young gun on Splyce in with a FAMAS, not his weapon of choice, but he's going to try and make it work. He has found one with a flank in. Shuts him down, and that's NRG to convincingly win this map out.
Yeah, convincingly and easily. 16-5. Dominant from Ethan. Both sides of the map played very, very well. The op battle between Cirque and Exotic didn't really get to see it too much, but I guess we could say Exotic wasn't able to deliver the way that you expected to, but neither was Splyce as a whole, so fair play. Either way, we're going to do a short break, and when we return, it will be the desk, Trace and the boys.
Incendiary out.